ETH just broke above 4K and the crypto market is on fire. But the big question is, are you still hodling or already taking profits? Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Today I'll be going over 10 top altcoins to buy in August, part 2. So let's get started, and of course don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with LDO. As per our last weekly overview, we have been looking for trend following longs at this retest because we previously rejected the lower bound of the range at 0.5, 0.6. We also broke above this previous major high and the falling channel, shifting the momentum from bearish to bullish again. That's why, as mentioned last week, after this big impulse, we were expecting a correction where we'll be looking for trend following longs targeting the 1.5. Of course, you could have zoomed into H4 time frame, waited for a break above this previous major high and the one round number before going long. The take profit is already hit around 1.5. What's next, you might ask? It's currently hovering around the upper bound of its range. As you clearly see, it's a massive support and resistance. Previously resistance turned support and actually currently acting as resistance. It's also the upper bound of this rising wedge pattern, rising broadening wedge. Thus, if you want to take profit currently, you could have taken profit and will be buying again or buying more. It depends on your style and how much you believe in LDO. I personally am a big believer in LDO. We want to break above the 1.65, and you can see a positive correlation between Ethereum and LDO because LDO is a DeFi through Ethereum where you can stake your ETH. Anyway, you know your homework, right? After we break above the 1.65 daily candle close, you can go long again and target the upper bound of the next resistance at 2.3. Meanwhile, in case we have a correction, this would be a very strong area around the previous major high and the demand zone at 1.3 if you want to go long again short term and target the 1.5 resistance again. Next, we've got Pol. As expected last week, as you can see from my drawings, we're expecting a correction towards the 0.2 support zone where we'll be looking, of course, for longs targeting the upper bound of the range again. Just like this, waited for a break above the previous major high at 0.205 and then you could have went long. Anyway, the updates for now. We are currently within this big accumulation phase. After rejecting the 0.2 multiple times, we were looking for trend following longs targeting the upper bound of the range. For the bullish takeover from a macro perspective and start this giant markup phase, we want to break above the upper bound of the accumulation, as you can see in blue, which would be around 0.27, 0.28. Once we break it to the upside, you can go long from a long-term perspective on Pol. Meanwhile, we are still within this range. Thus, as we retest the 0.2 again, you can look for new short-term longs targeting the 0.26. Next, we've got Ethena. Weekly time frame, we've broken above this resistance at 0.535, and now we are in the middle of this big impulse movement. We've got our first impulse, correction, impulse. So yes, I'm expecting a correction, but this would be a massive zone. Previous major high intersecting with the lower bound of this rising wedge. So as we retest it, we'll be looking for trend following longs. In this case, I'll be targeting the upper bound of the wedge, lining up perfectly with the round number 1. 0.951 is a very strong resistance zone. It's like a magnet attracting price towards it. So in case we retest this area, we can look for trend following longs targeting the one round number. Pendle, very similar to Ethena. We are trading within the rising broadening wedge. We lately broken above this previous major high and the resistance zone at 4.5 and even 5 round number. Thus, as we retest this area, we'll be looking for trend following longs. It's the intersection of this resistance, turn support, previous major highs, structure, and most importantly, the lower bound of this rising broadening wedge. Again, if you zoom a little bit out, you can see this one, how clean it is. Bearish, bullish, and we are currently in this bullish phase. Retesting this area will be a very good zone to be looking for trend following longs. Next we've got OP, trading within a big range between one round number and 0.5. We previously rejected the 0.5 and we have been trading higher since then. Especially if you check my previous updates through articles or videos, we were waiting for this structure to be broken upward around 0.625 to expect the next impulse movement to start. And then I've made an update as we retested to look for trend following longs right there. If you zoom a little bit in, you can clearly see it in action. 0.67 retested, rejected, and we pushed higher. What now, you might ask? We are currently hovering around this structure, around 0.84. So as we break it to the upside, we'll be expecting further bullish movement, a continuation towards 0.95 and one round number. Meanwhile, of course, we are trading within the big range. So as we retest this lower band, you can look for new short-term longs targeting the 0.8 again. Next, we've got near. From weekly time frame, you can see a very strong macro support zone. Resistance previously turned support and currently acting as support. And if you zoom a little bit in, you don't need to zoom into daily time frame, just on weekly time frame, you can see a very strong structure right there. Thus, in a clear, structured manner, if you break above it, you can expect a big long-term bullish movement on near towards the 7 round number. If you zoom into daily time frame again, you can see it in a cleaner manner. Previously resistance turned support, or vice versa, previously support turned resistance. And if you break above the 3.65, we'll be expecting this big macro bullish movement. It's like we are within this accumulation phase. So, long story short, break above 3.65 to expect a big bullish movement towards the 8 round number, and or if you retest the slower band again towards the 2.1, you can look for short-term longs targeting the 3.5 again. ZK, weekly time frame rejected the 0.05 round number, and if you zoom a little bit in, you can see the structure right there around 0.065. If you break it, expect a medium-term bullish movement towards the 0.08, just like this, as a rising broadening wedge. Vice versa, if you retest the 0.05 round number again, you can look for new short-term longs targeting the 0.062. So, long story short, look for longs here or look for longs right there. And from a macro perspective, I want to break above this resistance for ZK to push all the way towards the 0.15 round number. Next, we've got IOTA. Zoom into a weekly time frame, you can see a big range between 0.1 and 0.5, and we are currently almost towards the second half of this big range. If you retest the slower band again, you can look for longs. On daily time frame, you can see the structure clean and clear. If you break above it, 0.27, expect this macro bullish movement towards the 0.5. And once, of course, we break above the 0.5, expect a movement towards the 1 round number. Long story short, retest this area, look for trend following longs short term, and break above this area 0.26 to 7, expect a movement towards the 0.45 or even 0.5 round number. Next, we've got TIA, retesting the 1.5 support zone. For the bullish takeover finally and shift the momentum again from bearish, as you can see within this falling wedge, to bullish towards this 4.55 resistance zone, we need a break above this last major high at 2.32. Once we break above it, we'll be expecting price to start and make new higher highs and higher lows, and you can look for trend following longs on every correction movement. Meanwhile, of course, as usual, if you retest this 1.5 support zone, you can look for medium term longs or short term longs targeting to 2.2, 2.3. Last but not least, we've got SPK. Just as mentioned in the last Coin of the Week article, we have been overall bullish. This one surged by over 500% from 0.02 towards the 0.2, which would be 1000%. Anyway, we are currently trading within this ascending triangle, which is usually a continuation pattern. For the bullish takeover and start the next big impulse movement targeting new all-time highs, we need a break above this previous major high, which would be around 0.35. If you break above it, you can expect a long-term long. As mentioned, targeting new all-time highs, the first target would be 0.2 round number around the previous all-time high. Meanwhile, since we are retesting the lower bound of this ascending triangle, we can look for short-term longs targeting the 0.135. Of course, vice versa. If you break below this trend line, expect a deeper correction towards this demand zone at 0.06, 0.07, where of course we'll be looking for trend following longs. That's it for today. 10 top altcoins to buy in August. Let me know in the comments which altcoins are you holding, which altcoins are you planning to hold. If it's not on this list, let me know in the comments and I'll add it to analyze it hopefully next week. And I'll see you hopefully on the next one.